And that's how I've worked my way into everything I've done is doing things for free, getting those connections and getting that information and that knowledge and all that stuff and that experience. Jobs would rather hire someone who's been doing this for 4 years rather than going to college.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So,
Yeah.
so it's all about experience. It's all the experience is like gold.
So as artists, we make the song, we record the album, and then the next question is, what's next? Well, to help us answer that is Lauren Tafoya. She helps creatives build infrastructure around the music and the pieces of art they want to get out there into the world. And one of the best things is she helps you build business capital as well, so those funds can help drive you to the next level as an artist. All the way from New Mexico, we have Lauren Tafoya on this week's episode of Loves Music. Lauren, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on Loves Music. I couldn't be more excited to have this episode today. Up until now, I've had these creatives, a lot of people in media, but this is the first time we're getting to kind of peek behind the curtain to kind of the business and the infrastructure side of the music business. And what you're doing for artists is incredible. Could you just give us just kind of like the elevator summary of what you're doing with your business and how you help artists?
Right, of course. And thank you for having me here. Really excited to, be here and share this with you. Had some great conversations off camera. But in terms of what my business essentially is, I'm helping artists diversify their brand. So rather than relying on your music, streams, ticket sales, those types of things to bring in revenue and livable income, I'm helping artists find a different industry, a different business that they can relate their message and their music to. And that way they can build income, have more sustainable income without having to rely just on music to do that. Because unfortunately, in the music industry right now, there's not a lot of opportunities for all the people who have a passion for music. So this is a way where everyone who does have that passion can have their own business that's not in direct competition with every single other artist.
That's awesome. So when you say diversify, can you give me an example? If it's not streams, if it's not views, what other metrics are we using to help artists monetize?
Exactly. So it will be extremely different for every artist because it's going to be related to your specific message. So let's say that your music is about the meaning of life or the purpose of life. You can create a philosophy workshop on the meaning of life. You charge people for this workshop. You have it every week, every month, something like that. You add additional things like ebooks, other materials, and then you slap your music on everything, on all the marketing materials. And now you have a cross promotion machine. Your business promoting your music's promoting your business. People have a different way to, pretty much pay you, the different way to invest in you. And now that they've, invested in your workshop, now they're like 100% more likely to listen to your music and be interested in your music because they already gave you their money.
Got it. Okay. Now, if you're dealing with, say, a creative, right? I find it in my experience that when you're dealing with creatives, they're studio rats, people that just love to perform, and then having to pivot into this business mind. I feel like a lot of artists, and when I say a lot of artists, I mean myself, I'd be completely lost trying to do something like this. When I looked on the website, it looks like you take them step by step with like various levels. How does something like that work without giving away too much of the secret sauce?
No
How does
problem.
something like that work?
Yeah, so like the structure of it is I'm going to walk you step by step through every single process. So there's 7 levels to the program. There's 2 options for the program, either the course, which is, full course, you get all at once, all information at once. Challenges are split up into 7 challenges and gives it to you bits by bits. But they both follow the same framework of having 21 checkpoints, 21 checkpoint worksheets that you fill in. I direct you in it as well. I guide you through the worksheet. So it's not just like, here, take it, do it by yourself. I also walk you through that entire worksheet. So each level has 3 checkpoints, 21 checkpoints total. And each of those checkpoints with the worksheet walks you through every single step, and it makes it as easy as possible.
Okay. And so when an artist completes the process, they'll have their new product branded with their music, and then you'll also help them set up the payment structure, any kind of like automated marketing processes, all that stuff set up as well.
So we're gonna focus after we have the whole business set up, which is like all the nitty gritty details of Secretary of State, IRS, Also paying attention to these are little insights that I'm going to give people is how many characters in your business name it should have, where it needs to match places, just little details that go into building credit, because that's also another additional feature to this program. Is I'm not going to just help you build the business, I'm going to help you build business credit as well. And that's actually what I specialize in is business credit. I was a business credit analyst for a couple years. Before that, I was in music management. So I combined those two, and this is what I've created. But yes, it is going to walk you through the entire little nitty gritty details of building up the business, building business credit, and then also hundreds of ideas of how to actually promote your music through your business, through either that's events, workshops, branding on the materials. So that's also, part of it is there's 300 music messages to choose from. You choose one based on different categories. There's 500 business ideas. You connect your music message to one of those ideas. And then we do the business credit, the setup, all that stuff. And at the very end, then you tie it all together and use different cross promotion tools to promote both of them.
Wow. So, and I don't want to misspeak, but so not only are you helping them promote, but you're also helping them actually build capital in the process of building their brand, which is for anybody who's ever tried to start a business, how you have to know how important that is to actually be able to leverage your resources so you can actually gain funding so you can take the next step. So many of these artists are out here like just trying to come up from the muscle. And you're saying, well, look, we appreciate the hustle, but you're actually showing how to actually gain capital that'll fuel their musical endeavors.
Yep,
Did
exactly.
I did express that correctly?
Yes, exactly. So that is the huge part of it is the business credit because in reality, so out of all business owners, not just like artists who have businesses, out of all business owners, only 8% are using their business credit correctly. So yeah, so that's a huge insight for artists in this program where you're not going to just learn how to create a business, you're going to learn how to create a business the right way. So you can, benefit from these write-offs first of all, and then the business credit stuff that can bleed into your music, So it's all tied together. It's very intensive in terms of like information. Again, everything is a walkthrough. I'm gonna step-by-step guide. I even have a Secretary of State guide, so it's not just like here's the website. I have the steps. I have the direct links of the forms, the portal, the this, the that. So I do make it as easy as possible. And that's actually what I was specialized in when I was a business credit analyst, was working with the people who needed the extra help and the extra guidance and the extra mile. So that's where I excelled in my last position, and I ended up being the most requested person in my position because of that. So
Wow. Now, is it safe to assume that you're helping people that need credit? You're helping younger artists. And I don't mean younger as an age, just younger as artists that are starting out.
I would say I wouldn't say it's younger artists because I've noticed that a lot of the people who are really interested in my product are ones who've been doing this for a long time. Maybe
Wow.
5, 10 years they've been doing this, they do that, they try this, they try that. Maybe they think they're just missing the money, they're just missing this, they're just missing that. There's one thing they're missing and they just can't get it. A lot of times that may not be it, but that's what I find is the people who are benefiting the most from this are the ones who have been trying with music for a while.
Now, the people that have been trying, where do you think they're getting it wrong?
So this is something that a lot of artists have to understand. It's not that you're doing anything necessarily wrong. The music industry is not made for it. The music industry has very, very select, very small spots for very select group of people. And it's not always based on merit. It's not always based on talent. It's not always based on those things. It's based on other things sometimes. So what I'm trying to teach people is that your goal does not and should not be gain signed to a major label. There's, you get advance that you have to pay back with a major label that it's possible you won't, then you're in debt to these people. So I don't think that any artist who's an indie artist or small time, literally anyone. I don't think anyone should sign to a major label. Work with a small label who's going to give you those little benefits, of having a label, but don't sign your life away. You don't have to do that. But that's what a lot of artists right now think they have to do is everyone wants to get signed to a major label because they think that's going to solve all their problems. They're going to get the exposure. They're going to get the fans, all that stuff. They're going to make the money. But there's so many things that tie into that you have to pay back.
Right.
So in this way, this is creating your own ecosystem, your own community, your own brand, your own marketing platform, your own sponsor, because you can be your own sponsor with your business. So all these things is creating your very own world, rather than having to rely on the music industry that has so little spots. It's, 99.999% of artists will never get a spot
Right.
with a major label.
Certainly,
So
yeah.
this is the alternative that anyone can do, and that has a lot more opportunities for people, a lot less competition. And that's not completely because in my mind, I worked with a lot of artists, and the music industry just feels hopeless sometimes. And that's why people are depressed about it. People lose the passion for the music, and that is really, driven me to pursue this more, is
Right.
because of those people who, they love music, they have a passion for music, they want, their music is life, but the music industry isn't made for that, you know.
Hmm.
So
Now, when you now the question I'm sure that at this point everybody's wondering is, with you offering such immense value to your clients, customers, community, it's probably a significant investment, but it sounds like you try to make it a little bit easier for anybody to get involved. Can you speak to what it would take for somebody to get started?
yes, yeah. So I do try to keep it very affordable, because I want as many people to succeed with this as possible. I've made a reel before saying, I'm a different kind of industry person, because I don't have a limited number of spots for people. It's unlimited. Anyone can do this, and that is my ultimate goal, is to reach as many people as possible with this idea, rather than making a ton of money off, one person or a few people. So my pricing structure is, for the challenges, they're only $25 each, with the first one being free. So there's 7 challenges. First one's free. It's $150 for the entire program. It does last. The challenges last a little long, which is good for you if you are on a budget, because that means and they're pay as you go. So that means you can just pay for one challenge. 2 weeks later, the next challenge comes up. You pay for that one. 2 weeks later, the next one comes up. You can pay for that one. So that's how that works. That's the more affordable, pay as you go option. The other one, which is the course, has more information, more lessons, more guides and resources. That one is only 149, and for the first month, it's going to be $99, which is releasing in 2 days. So first month gonna be 99. It's gonna go back to 149 after that. But again, it's actually the same price as the challenges, just all at once.
Hmm.
So I'm not trying, to like really get people on those things. I want people to understand what this is, to try it out, and to see the value in having your own business and not having to rely on the industry.
And it sounds like you're very hands-on and involved too. Like, you're not just passing, somebody sees you, they register, and then they're just kind of like part of a system with just like automated messages coming. Like, you're very hands-on with your
Yes.
folks, helping them along the way. Like you said, taking them step by step through the
Yes,
details.
exactly. Yeah, because
So
I,
very
I I stay in contact with
important.
people in the DMs all the time.
Mhm.
Helping them. Oh, I see you didn't finish this checkpoint. Do you need some help, or do you need this or that? Also, flexible. Like during the program, there's a lot of reminders for the challenges that you have 2 days for this checkpoint, 2 days for this checkpoint, then it's over. But I understand life gets in the way. So if someone can't finish it for some reason, I'm gonna message them afterwards and say, hey, I noticed you didn't finish these ones. I can send you the information by email, so you can finish, and then you can continue the next level. So yeah, I really try to work with people. I understand life gets in the way. I also have 2 kids, so I know there's so many factors that goes into
Right,
that when you have children and just life and jobs and stuff. So I
right.
try to be really flexible with people.
So you heard it here, folks. So for the price of a steak dinner, Lauren will come alongside, help you set up your business, set up your brand, and get some products out there in the market that'll help support your music and your creative endeavors as well. You don't have to do this by yourself. I want to talk a little bit about the psyche of the artists that you work with. Why do you think that it's so hard for artists to transition from making music in the studio, performing, playing their instruments, and making that shift into self promotion? It feels like every time I speak to an artist, I say, "Hey, what's the hardest part about music?" First answer is always social media, self promotion, getting my stuff out
Yes.
there. Why do you think that that shift in mindset is just so difficult for creatives?
Yeah, so of course, most people who do music are, obviously like the creative type of people. So first of all, it's kind of hard for those types to just transition to that like,
Yeah,
paperwork stuff. And I've worked with a lot of business owners, and it was the same. It's same across the board. It's not even just for artists. Like, business owners, it's like they have this passion about whatever they're selling. That all they want to do is work on that product. They don't want to market. They don't want to do this or that, or do the
right,
paperwork.
right.
So it's pretty similar for a lot of different people. But in terms like of, kind of like shaking them out of that, I think it's just letting them. It's because a lot of these people just have no clue. They've never been exposed to these things. Certain communities, are just not in the know about these things for certain reasons and some intentional reasons. And that's why I see is in a lot of let's say like underserved communities like mine, it's not common knowledge. This type of stuff is not common knowledge. Even like business owners, don't know a
Yeah.
lot of these things. It's
Right.
actually there's kind of a conspiracy that I believe is true in like the business world, that business credit, the real way to how to use business credit is kept on the hush, so that not too many people understand it, so that more of the larger companies like corporations have more, power and stuff over like the small mom and pop places. So I think it's like it goes across a lot of different realms of, inequality. And that's actually why I majored in college was sociology of social inequality. And even though sometimes it seems like it's not related, it really is.
Sure.
Because there's
Yeah.
so many different, people just have different experiences, and I think it's I'm trying to open these doors to show people that this is what it could be, this is what you can do. Because even when I was in high school and stuff, I didn't know about all the different types of careers there were. I didn't
Right.
know about graphic design, and if I had known that
Sure.
there was graphic design, I would have done graphic design
Right.
because I love that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know. So I feel like there's for even for younger people, for artists just starting out, it's like they just don't have any type of way to even know about these things in the first place. So that's how I'm trying to help people transition, where it's like this can be common knowledge, this can be household knowledge, this can be generational knowledge,
Sure.
which especially is a big one, which is I'm really trying, this
Yeah.
legacy that I'm trying to leave
Yeah.
is a generation of people who understand exactly how all of these things work, can teach their children how these things work, and essentially build their own way of keeping wealth generationally. So
Right. Yeah. And that's something that you said that was very important that I want to gloss over. It's deeper than music. These are
yes.
foundational monetary business principles that you can apply to anything. Obviously, you're doing it more for music or more for creatives, but you can apply it to landscaping, real estate. I mean, the principles are foundational, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I was also thinking of my next project once this is going and I have more support, with me. My next project is I'm going to make a similar program for regular people, for anyone, not just artists, and that shows you how to do these things for almost free.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna make one for podcasters?
but yeah, actually, because look, so my idea was like regular people, creatives, so people not just artists, but like content creators. Because also another crazy thing is that all these content creators who have millions of views and all this stuff, they're not always monetizing the way that you think they should be. They're
Yeah.
not
Right.
making the money that you think they should be based on all their views. So a lot of them admit that they're broke.
Right.
So even for those people, you can relate the exact same thing. Just what's your message of your whole image, of your whole brand? Like, what is that message? Let's relate it to something else. Let's build a business, sell that on your platform. So it works, across a lot of different places.
In your experience, you've seen varied levels of success. People that fall off quick, people that try hard and fail, people that try hard and do well.
Mhm.
The people that do well, what are some of the similar traits you see in those people or some consistencies you see from person to person of the people that really excel that you've worked with?
I'm not sure if you're no, but this is a very new program. I've worked so this is only like 2.5 months old.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So people are just getting started with the beginning of the program. But I get a lot of feedback of people telling me that this is something that they actually really needed and they didn't know that they needed it, which is another, going back to the idea that, people don't know what they don't know, or, so, but in terms of success, people, who have completed the checkpoints, certain worksheets and stuff, it's really just about staying engaged and not letting things feel overwhelming. Because when you're presented new information, there's like something that goes on your brain where it's like
Yeah.
that's why they say like sleep on the information, because that's actually sleep consolidation, where you process the information better after you sleep.
Okay.
So it's like I would say just, even if it seems confusing in the beginning, the people who succeed are the ones who just keep going, keep doing the worksheets, even if they're not fully, understanding the entire thing or the entire process or how it's going to be in the end, to just, take it step by step, worksheet by worksheet. And if you just complete those worksheets, you complete the entire program. So
That's awesome. Thank you for being so candid about the business. I learned more in the last 10 minutes talking to you than I knew when we first started. So thank you for being so just so informative and not even just on this episode, but just even when we talked before. Just about like what you're doing and how you're helping artists. I think you're doing good work. I think you're doing important work, and I think a lot of people are going to benefit over the course of their life thanks to you. So I think it's really cool. Switch gears here a little bit. This is a music podcast, so something I like to do is connect the dots of our music history back to when we first really started getting into music. And you weren't always a business credit analyst, right?
yeah, exactly. No, I started in music. I started in music business. So yeah. So going back to maybe where I started with that, I started doing music marketing management, like social media management, when I was like maybe like 25 or so. And I just started small time. I know I was marketing for my boyfriend's group. That I moved on from that group, worked with another one. And eventually, and I think maybe I worked with 2 or 3 groups in San Diego. And the one that was the most successful, we were called Under Siege Music Group. And we did quite a few things, which was really fun. But pretty much our two most exciting experiences with that group was we got a song produced by Scott Storch, which was really
There you
cool.
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
really
right.
awesome. We went up to his house in LA a few times, maybe like 4 or 5 times. Got to like, of course, hang out with him, smoke with
Yeah.
him, and
Okay.
anyway, so that was fun. And then also another big thing we did, we put together a 420 hip hop and art event. So we had the hip hop artists performing, we had the art people with their stuff up selling their art, so visual arts, and then we had the 420 vendors set up, selling their stuff. And so that was really fun. It was a really really good turnout. It was a lot of people there. Everyone loved it, and for that it was really exciting because we had talent scouts from Universal Music Group that Drake sent for us because we had been in
Yeah.
contact with him. 'Cause apparently, we
Mhm.
got some attention. We were doing really well with the marketing,
Mhm. There you
and
go.
yeah, and we were able to have some conversations with him. He sent some talent scouts, stuff like that. So that was also pretty fun.
That's fantastic. Obviously it's in you. There's the marketing aspect of it, the
Mhm.
music aspect of it. Um, Take me back to your earliest memories of music, like when you first heard a song or a tune and you were interested, and you're like, "What's happening to my ears right now?"
so so
Yeah.
I'm so I don't know what was wrong with me as a kid. Like obviously I'm good, but like I could not understand singing. Like I couldn't
Okay.
understand what people were saying when they're singing until I was like
Okay.
10. And I'm like, I don't know if it was some like ND neurodivergent stuff or something. But anyway, so I really liked rap because I could understand what they're saying.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my brother was really into rap too. He was actually a big hip hop buff, so I was influenced by him a little bit. I also was a skater like in middle school, so I listened. So I also listened to a lot of rock at the time.
Okay.
That was for maybe like 2 years. I was a punk rocker,
Yeah.
and which is hard to believe, I guess now.
All
I
right.
wore the all black and stuff, but I could
Yeah.
never dye my hair black because I wasn't allowed to dye my hair. But
All right. Interesting. Why not? Was that like a parental thing? Was it a religious
I was
thing?
raised by a very strict Hispanic grandmother, and if you know anything about that, like, so I wasn't allowed to have boyfriends. I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to have boys stand around me. Not boyfriend, no boys at all
Like
stand
in the
around me.
vicinity. You had like a bubble around you. And you're
Yeah, when she picked me
okay.
up from school, there could not be any boys around me. And
Get away! Get out of here! Get out!
yeah, I'm kind of thankful for all that stuff now, though, because I see that the strict stuff was good. Then I saw what my other friends were doing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like.
Yeah, a little bit of the same. Like the first music that like captivated me was hip hop, and I just happened to be in like a very religious home, so it was
Oh, that
like
way.
just trying to like sneak. I'm probably aging myself, but you like burn the cassettes. You'd have like a blank cassette, but
Yeah.
like I wouldn't label any of them, so I'd have like 5 cassettes that look the
Oh, and then
same.
you have to,
As my
yeah,
sleep I could listen to them.
right. Oh my God.
My Walkman. Wow. Yeah. What was the first? You got into rap. What was the first hip hop album you really liked?
Not hip hop, but R&B was Usher. That was my first CD ever. My first CD
Okay.
ever was Usher, was his mixtape. And
Okay.
my cousin actually sold CDs, so I got it from him. And that was so my first, and then my first, like, I guess hip hop album, I think was NWA. It was Street Out of
Okay.
Compton.
Yeah. Right.
Which was funny for like a 13-year-old though, like Chicana girl to be listening to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you were on the West Coast at this time, right? You're from San
Yeah, I was
Diego.
on the West Coast. I
That
was in
makes, that
San
makes
Diego.
sense.
Yeah. But I
Okay.
mean, but San Diego, like, we're real surfer, skater, like, it's not a big hip hop scene, to be honest. There is hip hop in San Diego. It's just not like LA whatsoever. So
Right. Well, yeah, it's I mean, I guess rap was like major cities until it like went mainstream in like the 90s,
yeah.
or even like later in the 90s. It was
Yeah,
all like New York,
definitely.
LA, and then Philadelphia kind of got like the trickle down from it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think so I tried to like kind of like backdoor my way into hip hop with like the more tamer albums, Like I was like, look, Dad, I know I can't have any rap albums, but like can I listen to like Tribe Called Quest, like The
Oh,
Roost,
yeah. Yeah.
Will you allow these albums?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
But a
Sorry.
little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So, all right. So, what rock albums did you get put onto first?
Oh yeah. So rock, I mean, I loved like Nirvana. I loved Sublime. I'm still like a huge Sublime fan. And I think they're cool because they're like the mix of like reggae, hip hop,
Yeah,
rock,
everything. Yeah.
Like it's all different. And then of course like Linkin Park, like Evanescence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those people. And then Blink 182, that whole era of like the Blink 182 Green Day thing. That
Yeah.
was great. That was a
No,
great time for punk rock or whatever.
yeah. So yeah. So I'm in probably like ninth and 10th grade, and like
Mhm.
yeah, like so Nirvana has already been out for a little while.
Yeah.
Green Day Dookie is like the album.
Yeah, that was my favorite album.
Yeah, that was like
I
my
had that one.
go-to. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, good
gosh.
time. Funny story is Lincoln Park's actually gonna be here for my birthday in Philadelphia.
Really?
Like
No
the day after my
way.
birthday. Yeah, I'm gonna see him.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. The
Have
new
you heard
Linkin
of
Park.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Yeah.
you, how do you feel with the girl lead singer?
I think it's cool. They're continuing, the tradition, I think it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
Tester is his name?
Yeah, Chester, yeah.
Yeah, so he of course, he's a legend, so he's always gonna be
Yeah.
there. But I like what they're doing to continue things.
Right. It
Yeah,
sounds different. It almost sounds like a tribute to Chester. It doesn't sound like they're trying to duplicate the same sound. It's
exactly.
the same genre, obviously, but it's not. It sounds like something different, but it's cool. Like
Yeah,
I like it. I
exactly.
like it a lot.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
all right, sorry. So you're listening to punk, you listen to a little bit of rap here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you're in high school. How did you make the transition from okay, I like music, but now I would rather be in the marketing space or like promotional space.
Right, right. So that actually didn't come until after I was out of college. So after 21 or so, I graduated when I was 21. After that, that's when I actually started getting into the music stuff. So maybe like 22, 23 or so.
Okay.
But another interesting thing, once I started doing like the music marketing stuff and getting into the business, after I already started, I found out that my older cousin, who's about 10, 15 years older than me, he was a big promoter here in New Mexico for like a long time. And he had like the biggest or the most well-known studio, and like he was a producer and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know how I didn't know any of this, but but
Yeah.
apparently I didn't. And he also brought Nipsey Hussle to perform back in the day when he was a smaller artist. He was also featured. He was just on a podcast too, as well, a few months ago. It's the I Am Johnny James, the coach something. He's like the biggest influencer in New Mexico.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, so was just on his podcast maybe like 2 months ago talking about what he was doing like back in the day.
Mhm. Yeah, wow.
So it's kind of like the little music business thing kind of runs in the family.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Not the music part as much, but the music business,
Yeah, yeah, right. All right,
which is
so
kind of interesting.
where did you go to school? Where did you go to college?
So I went to UC San Diego,
Mhm.
and I stayed in San Diego because I was stupid and I had a boyfriend.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, I'll stay in the same city as him.
Yeah.
And and I wish I would just went and explored a different place and just went somewhere else. But anyways, so I went to UC San Diego. I was also accepted into UCLA, UC Berkeley, pretty much all the major schools
Yeah.
in California.
Oh, that's cool. And that's where you study. Where'd you get your degree in?
It's sociology of social inequality. That was my
Mhm.
major. I also
Okay.
minored in Spanish literature. So I actually learned Spanish as an adult, which was very difficult coming from a Hispanic background
Mhm.
because people are ruthless, not against Hispanic people that don't already speak the
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
Um, so Spanish literature was my minor, and my other minor was bilingual education.
So you went from the social inequalities, took Spanish. How did you land from there and then end up in business credit?
I tried, getting like the regular corporate jobs after college, and it just never worked for me. There was like, I don't know if it was like like signs from God for me to like do other things from this. Maybe it was, but things just were always like, there was like a jealous coworker. Literally, I was sabotaged, like at least
Really?
like once. Yeah. It's like
Really?
there's a jealous coworker, or there's like racism, which is like crazy in like this time period, but it's still like happening.
Yeah. Like,
And
can you give like an example? Like I'm trying to like wrap my head
yeah.
around it.
Yeah. So I worked for this one company, and it was I think it was my first major job outside of college. And when I started there was three people in my department. I was in customer service. One girl quit. The other girl got pregnant by the owner.
Oh, scandalous.
This is some tea, okay? This is some drama. This is some cheese right
Yeah,
here.
I know, right? Okay.
Anyway, and she was 19 and he was 53.
Ooh. I think we must have a Netflix special.
Yeah, I know, I swear. So
Yeah.
anyway, so she got pregnant. So she obviously wasn't doing a lot, in the department. So it was just me handling like 100% of the customer service stuff. And I was literally on the phone like all day, like no breaks, and like totally being overworked. But of course I'm handling it because I can do it or whatever, but it doesn't mean I should. And anyways, I kept telling the bosses like, hey, we had three people in this department, now there's only me and this person. I'm doing all the work, it's too much work, all this stuff, like you need to hire another person. I kept telling them, and eventually I just had to quit because it was too much. It had already been a year. I've been telling them over and over. So when I quit, this is just me personally.
Yeah.
But there was other things that happened to other people at the
Right.
job. And when I quit, I told them why. They're like, okay. And they smiled at me, and that was it. And
Oh,
it wasn't, and that was like the major thing of what made me quit. But I knew that they were like racist in the beginning when they hired me. I'm half white, so maybe they just couldn't tell or something. And and
problem seeing or
no, I don't. Maybe I wasn't wearing enough makeup that day. Like I change races based on how much makeup I'm wearing. And anyway, so one day I was in the showroom, and I was talking
Mhm.
to a client or to a customer in Spanish, and it was the first time they heard me speak in Spanish apparently. So after that day, they started treating me different.
Yeah.
After
Wow.
that day that they heard me speak Spanish.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was
That
really crazy. One day I'm gonna do a whole reveal on who that actually is because they're actually a big company.
Oh, really?
In the
All
in
right.
the in the realm, in the industry they're in, they're a big company.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, joking aside, I'm sorry you had to deal with that. That's
Oh yeah,
awful.
it's okay. It's
That's
good.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what
All
I'm
right.
saying. And sometimes I look back and I think like maybe, all these things happen to me so I can learn to be a good leader, first of all. And then also to push me hard into other things. Because if I was, maybe if it worked out for me, I continued to climb the low corporate ladder and like these types of jobs, I'd have a good management position by now. I would be doing this or that, or whatever. And then I wouldn't be doing this.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so sometimes I try to look at it from the bigger picture of like, if this didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened. And so maybe it's all just part of the plan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
that's me, God, whatever you want to call it, divine intervention.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good. So now you're here. You went from the corporate world to now you're helping artists. Let's talk about currently, right? Everybody always likes to know what are you. All right, I'll build the scene, right? So you
Yes.
finish the podcast, you have to run to the store, you get in your car. What are you playing?
Okay. So I play a lot of Kendrick Lamar, a lot of
Okay,
Nipsey Hussle.
okay.
And then I've listened to all my little bachata stuff, like Romeo and
Loyal to the West Coast hip hop
I
scene.
am.
Okay.
It's just it's just totally natural. I don't even like choose it like that.
So I always like to ask this question: who's your Take My Money band? And that means they're coming to
Oh,
town. Doesn't matter how much it costs. I have to be in the building when they play.
I love Cypress Hill.
Really? Are they still touring?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I don't know
Really?
about like they do because I know they came to New Mexico in the past couple years.
Get out.
Yeah, so they definitely do.
Yeah.
Probably select spots, Maybe I think there's like a little like Chicano tour run that everyone does, like all the old school rappers like Baby Bash and everything. So it's like, somewhere most likely like San Diego, like Phoenix, probably Albuquerque for sure, because we're like huge and all that. Like everyone comes out for those things.
Yeah,
Um,
I would see them pop
yeah.
up like sporadically on like festival lineups, But
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't know they were still like actively touring. That's
yeah,
awesome.
no, I think
Yeah,
I think
right.
so because the whole Texas, this little area is like a little loop,
Yeah.
for all the old school like Chicano rap.
Huh.
So,
Yeah, it's
mhm.
funny. I just actually just watched I watched a documentary about Ice Cube. I didn't know that he actually had like issues with Cypress Hill. Did you know that?
Wait, who had issues?
Ice Cube and Cypress Hill had like a
No,
little
I didn't
beef
know
or like
that.
some like yeah,
What?
or like some stuff. Yeah, I didn't know until like this week. Like I was watching the
Oh,
documentary.
really? That's
Yeah,
interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah,
No, I didn't know.
interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. So here's another good question I like to ask. Is there an artist that you listen to that if people knew you listened to them, they'd be surprised? Like, it would kind of catch them off guard. Like, for instance, for me, like I listen to most like alt rock, hip hop, the stuff that you would like assume a guy like me listens to.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you get in my car, I'll have like female pop music playing. Like I'll have
Oh,
like Lady Gaga on or something. Kind of like my guilty pleasure, so to speak. Do you
yeah.
have like any kind of music like that, or if somebody like heard you listen to it, they like you listen to this?
Right, right. There's like random like I like random like foreign rap. So
Okay.
so there'll be like there's like a rapper from like what is it, Chile or something that I love.
Okay. Okay.
So like yeah, just like random foreign rap. There's a couple like Turkish guys and like German and stuff. So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. It's like just like random rap from around the world. It's just
Yeah.
like I don't know what the hell they're saying. It just sounds cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny you brought that up. I watched the TV show. I've ever seen the cartoon Arcane
Arcane?
on Netflix. It's
No.
kind of like an anime. Well,
Mm-mm.
like the soundtrack to it is like really good. I like nerded out on it. It's like a really good animated cartoon,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
And an animated cartoon. Duh. So, but the soundtrack was like is like from people all over. They had like a 21 Pilot song. They
Oh,
had
cool.
yeah, Imagine Dragons has a song on there. But then they have like these like French rappers too, like on there too. I was like, what is this
Yeah.
stuff? This is
This
new.
sounds cool. It sounds so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but then you also you kind of correlate it like with the scene in the show, so it makes like the music resonate more. That yeah, I'll like go down like a rabbit hole. There was a show called The Serpent, and there was like these like weird like European rap. I don't even know what country it was from. Like some I guess
Yeah.
it sounded French.
Yeah.
There was like some like rap in the like the second episode or something. I'm like, what is
Nice.
this? I ended up
Yeah.
doing like a deep dive on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of the good artists I found are from the FIFA soundtrack, the game.
Yeah.
So many good. They have so many good, so many good foreign songs on the FIFA soundtrack.
Yeah, video games have taste. I remember like Tony Hawk had all these great songs, just like Rage Against the
Yeah,
Machine,
hell
like
yeah.
Tony Hawk album. Yeah, I'm like, all right.
So something funny. My dad used to so because Tony Hawk is from San Diego County.
Yeah.
My dad played sports. He was like a surfer and like he competed against Tony Hawk in high school.
Did you really?
We're in the same league but different schools.
Really? Wasn't he already a pro in like 11th grade or something like that? Like, didn't Tony Hawk was
He
really
might
right?
have been coming up at that time, but yeah,
Yeah.
apparently he would compete. They would compete in some stuff,
Yeah.
and maybe like surfing or something like that.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I know. So San Diego surf competition in high school.
I would tell that story all the time.
Oh, my dad used to play Tony
Yeah.
Hawk.
I
No,
would leave it at
I'm more like
that.
I'm more about the whole what is it, the Nipsey Hussle story. I'm like, my
Yeah.
cousin share all the time.
Yeah, right. Let me pick up that name I just dropped.
Yeah. So,
All right. So a couple more questions.
mhm.
If I was a young lady like yourself, 18, 19, 20, and I'm coming up, and I either want to be in business or in music, I would say business in your case. What advice would you give me? Just getting started.
So my advice would be, when you're first starting out, it's totally okay to do things for free. It's totally okay to get with a group and say, hey, I want to do this and this and that for you. I want to help. I'm not going to charge you because I want the experience. And a lot of people think, in this time day and age, like you have to pay for everything. You have to, everything has to, be worth your time, and your time is worth money, and like those types of things. But if you're just starting out, that's how you get the experience. It's just do things for free for people, get the experience. Then now you have the experience. Now you can go apply for something that's paid, and that's how I've worked my way into everything I've done, is doing things for free, and then getting those connections and getting that information and that knowledge and all that stuff and that experience. Because they even say, like, how many people have a hard time out of college finding a job because they don't have experience, and the jobs would rather hire someone who's been doing this for 4 years rather than going to college.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So,
Yeah.
so it's all about experience. It's all, the experience is like gold. So get the experience first, do it for free, whatever, and then build yourself up to the point where you can get paid for that same stuff.
Good advice. Gold. Okay. Now, obviously, when people see this episode, they're going to be interested in what you're doing. There's obviously a lot of different ways that they can contact you. Your socials, you're all over. What's the single best way if somebody wants to support you in what you're doing? Obviously, there's ways that they can join the program, but they just want to support you. They're like, hey, I'm a fan of what you're doing. I think it's cool. What's the single best way somebody can do that?
They want to support me. I do put out other like funny stuff, like other types of content just for regular people. If you like what I do and you want to support, I do accept tips on PayPal, and that's something that's linked on my Instagram. It's just under my links.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find me on every social media. So YouTube, Threads, Instagram, Facebook. It's all I am Laquela, IAMLAQUELA.
Awesome. Awesome. So where do you see it headed? If you were to look around the corner 18 to 24 months from now, what would be the ideal outcome with everything that you're working on and that you're building?
So by then, I want to have people who have finished the course, obviously who've completed every checkpoint, every worksheet, who have, the testimonial of what they're doing. So first, I want to have, by then, definitely want to have, a good group of people who have succeeded in what they're doing and have the results. And by that time, I want to, on my end of things, I want to be able to do more of these types of things where I'm, going podcasts. I'm also going to be having my own show as well, where I'm going to review music. So that's going to be coming in the next month, where I'm going to have a music review show, but it's going to
Nice.
all just be fun. It's not going to be so serious, like, oh, this sucks, like it's going to be all for
Yeah.
fun, just, entertainment, stuff like that, dancing and stuff. So let's say 18 months to whatever it is from now.
A year and a half, 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to have my show going. I want to have several groups of people who have succeeded and completed the course, and also have a team of people who are also making money from selling this course on their own. So that's also what I'm setting up now, is a commission-based system, so that not only am I going to try and help people to build a business, I'm also going to give them some type of employment, and so that this becomes its own ecosystem on its own. So I do want to spread this into, let's say, something more. I don't want to say corporate, because I hate corporate stuff, but just something bigger, a bit, a big company with not necessarily employees, but contractors. And yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you certainly gained a fan today. I
Thank
think
you.
that what you're doing is incredible. I really, and I don't just say that loosely. I think people are in need of, obviously, creatives. It's something that you have in you, being creative, want to do music. But that other business arm, without the education, you'll literally just have a hard drive full of music doing nothing,
Yes.
unless you really know how to get it out there. And that takes funding, it takes education, it takes infrastructure. And I think that people like you are going to be integral to people like me, who can barely send an email, much less set up a you could much less set up like a music business. So
Yeah.
I think it's awesome what you're doing. If there's anything
Thank
that
you.
we at Love Music can do for you, please, let's stay in touch. Thank you so much for spending time with us on the show today. And everybody, see you next time on Love's Music.